What a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a shout out to all of the people who do support Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Maris, Harry Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, Chris Hillman, NA Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Nathan Thompson, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Missouri Bear, Henrik86, Liam Nedrick, Erwin Jennisons, Abraham Mohammed, Dave Rakia Gafford, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, Felix Hung, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, Alexander Main, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by one person in the Discord server, so I'll raise the mic on him or her, Steve, and you can enjoy the conversation that hopefully develops while I set up for today's live show.
If he would have kept talking, he would have done himself more damage.
Yeah, he just came out of the blue and started telling me I'm talking about equilibrium and all this nonsense.
They just need to assert that, look outside. There's gas pressure out of container.
Yeah, I even showed it now with my summary with photos and stuff just to shove it in his face.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Hey, Tim.
Good morning.
What's happening, Tim?
Oh, I had a good day of golf yesterday.
Golf is nice and relaxing.
Oh, it was great.
I've never played a game of golf in my life, but the first time I teed up a ball and hit it, it went far, and then I couldn't hit it again for the life of me.
Yeah, most of the
weather
golfers
was
enjoy
perfect.
Most of the golfers enjoy the 18th, the 19th hole the best.
No, the best part of golf is when you first start because you're even par.
My cousin tells me he's a baseball player. He's been trying to break into Hollywood for years. He's done some movies and stuff like that. And he tells me, Neil, if God was to play a game, it would be golf.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing club golf, the guys, the first 9 holes, they would play rubbish. Then they get halfway out and they drink, and all of a sudden the drunk guys, and they just hit straight. Like their superpower is being drunk.
No, that's not it. The problem with what you're observing, let me ask you, was this a scientific thing?
Very scientific.
What was your dependent variable?
So what's that picture?
Hang on. Let me answer what he was saying.
Okay.
They're so into control in the first 9 where they're interfering with golf, and they finally stopped trying to control it. So it gets much better when you just play.
Yep. I agree. They're just more relaxed, I guess.
Well, that's one way, I guess, of saying you're not thinking, because you're relaxed because you're not thinking. You can't think and play at the same time. It doesn't work out well. Now, when I say think, I'm not saying strategy or which club to pick and how hard you swing or if you hold back on the club because you know you got different lengths on the club, right? You can hit a 7-iron, say 160 or 165 or 150, depending on the person. And then you could swing a little easier and just make it go 120. But that's a big club to do that with. But people have that skill.
Yeah,
You're
everybody's
saying
got their
you're
own.
saying tap into what you already know and what you've already been doing, right? Yeah,
So like the way you drive your car, huh?
exactly. Sometimes I get home and I'm like, how the heck did I get here? I don't even remember driving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you get home and you're like, wow, how did I get here? I was
got there 'cause
daydreaming the whole time.
You were parallel processing, Neil.
So what's that pitch and putt? Because I used to work with a lot of Irish guys, you know, and they couldn't wait to the weekend to go play pitch and putt. What the heck is that?
I don't know how the Irish would describe it.
But yeah, I think all it is you're just pitching to the green and then putting. You're not playing actual golf. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a term in golf, pitch shot, so it could be just that, yeah.
They tell me it's a
So what
smaller
happened-
version of golf, so I don't even know what a larger version of golf is. So I was lost.
Well, probably from the tee box with a driver, they get rid of that. Your mid-iron shots, get rid of that, and just go around the green and you just pitch it on the butt.
Okay.
Yeah, you even get. Sorry, go on.
No, finish up. I was just going to say, give me a recap of yesterday's show. What happened?
I don't think I don't think what's his name came on again.
Ed, nah.
I don't think Ed came on. It was kind of laid back. Then QE came on after show.
So you gave me a recap of what didn't happen. How about a recap of what did happen?
Owen had a meltdown again.
Yeah, Owen had a little meltdown.
Did it end well?
He came back in the after show. He came back in.
Okay, everything's fine.
Yeah,
that's not true. He didn't have a meltdown. No. That's not true. What actually happened was Arwen reached the point where, had he have not left, he may have had a meltdown. Instead, he chose to leave.
Yeah.
Very, very sensible. He didn't have a meltdown. That's just simply not true.
Sounds like a little bit of a
what did
meltdown
happen?
to me.
Okay, I'll recheck.
Just to rephrase.
Okay, I'll recheck my words then.
Just to rephrase what did happen, Arwen fought his position, and to be brutally honest, didn't do well. He was trying to defend a position that was utilising reification and just justifying why he couldn't map out the land below while simultaneously saying he was going to map out the land below, or with very cleverly, beautifully phrased poetry. But ultimately, you know, once pulled apart, it's no different to any other heliocentric or otherwise reification fallacy. And Arwen's is no different to any other model, so it just got pulled apart in the same fashion. It needed to be done, otherwise I'd be seen as like favourable with other people's fantasy models like Arwen. It's like, no, I'm not going to stand for that. I don't care if it's Arwen or not. However, he's never going to defend that bullshit, and all the peppering it with, yes, he knows it's, what was the word he used? I'm trying to remember. Conceptual. Kept on calling it conceptual. Well, peppering it with the justification that it's conceptual isn't going to defend it. So, you know, and at the point that he was like, I'm going to lose my temper now, he left. So, you know, I don't think that Arwen in any way lost his cool.
Yeah, but he was losing it when he started telling me it's irrelevant the whole time.
Starting to lose it, maybe, but that's when he buggered off. Good for him. Very, very sensible.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So was he?
That's why I said,
was he playing the baller position, kind of like his little joke out there about getting paid $6 million to help them out, kind of that position?
No, he was just, he was obviously defending something that was personal to him. Hence the reason that he got emotionally attached to it and therefore frustrated and eventually left as a result, rather than becoming, you know, triggered or whatever everyone else wants to call it. He just defended his position till it was undefendable, then left rather than getting annoyed because it's something personal to him.
Just don't insult his intelligence.
Say again?
Don't insult his intelligence, Nathan.
Don't insult your intelligence. Oh, Arwin said
That's what
that.
he
Yeah,
did
sorry. I
yesterday.
thought you were saying that to me. Yeah, that was the point that Arwin was starting to take it personally, and that was what 2 minutes before he left.
Yeah.
So he
But
was
that's
starting to
all
take it
right.
personally, and he chose to leave instead.
That was
I don't
it.
think
That
we've
was the
ever
whole show.
felt this
Nothing else
intelligent.
happened. Nothing else happened yesterday's show besides that.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to. I'd normally at this point I'd have watched the pre and after show from yesterday back once. However, because it gets released on Saturday, I tend to not. So come Thursday, Friday, the shows get delayed a day. That's a staggered day that's put in on Monday. So they end up being delayed 2 days for those who aren't members. If you're a member, you get it straight away, which is still the case. I could have gone and watched the members video. I just didn't have a chance. I was busy. So I don't know what happened on yesterday's show, and I can't remember.
It was a very laid-back show, Tent.
Okay.
Very mellow.
Yeah. It was
Well, let's
enjoyable.
get it going. So, let's get it going with the topic. So, we hear this all the time from the ballers, and even from people who have heard it themselves. Just repeat it. The science is settled. When someone says the science is settled, obviously it's they're trying to say that the very thing that they're presenting is valid, truth, unquestionable. The science is settled. This is it. And they use it with gravity. They use it with everything else. And then we say, well, show it to us. Show us the scientific method. Show us the process you went through. Show us the dependent variable, independent variable. And all of a sudden, the science doesn't look so settled because it comes unraveling apart, does it not?
It reminds me of the debate I had last night with Negator. Exactly the same.
What happened?
I did place it on Master B. Let's just put it this way. He doesn't know how to volume. He doesn't think volume requires containment. And he thinks gravity causes gas to go down in one vector. And he thinks entropy is equilibrium. And he thinks, what else? Oh, there were so much contradictions.
Entropy is equilibrium?
Yep. That's what he started
Man,
coming on in the beginning for.
I'll sum it up. He thinks his religious belief in a sky vacuum that you can go outside and just look up and there's gas pressure without a container. That's what this guy believes.
Yeah, that's begging the question.
Great.
I believe the sky's
That's
a
great.
vacuum.
Prove it now.
Look at my sky vacuum. I believe it's a vacuum. That proves it's a vacuum. It's just secular reasoning.
Well, that's great that he believes that, and he'll probably even say the science is settled. So prove it. Show it to us. Show us a vacuum next to gas pressure without any containment. And the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. The word science.
You've summed it up beautifully already. So what you're detailing is how they just use a magic trick. So the magic trick in this instance is to make an assertion. You didn't actually detail specifically what assertion it would be alongside, but you saying that they would say the science is settled. That's a magic spell. Make a declaration that probably has absolutely, more likely than not, has no science in it whatsoever, and say the science is settled. That's a magic trick.
Yeah, it is a magic trick. The word science is back to scientia from the Latin. It means knowledge. So let's just switch the word. The knowledge is settled. Great, show us the knowledge. Oh, well, I can't demonstrate it. Then it's not settled.
Let me read something about gas pressure without a container. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Particles of gas in a vacuum could create pressure since their collisions with each other result in forces being exerted on areas. Now, in parentheses, they got the areas being the surfaces of the particles being collided with.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was going to say that's nice.
Show it to us. How they could just clump together in that particular first bump.
Insanity.
course it's insanity.
That's why I like to just pummel them with show me volume without containment. Because then they got nowhere to turn. It's literally volume. You have to have containment to show any volume.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that the... What's it, PV? What's the thing that they use, the formula?
PVNRT, that's the ideal gas law.
Okay, so that's a hypothetical gas law, right? So the ideal hypothetical, P is what and V is what?
Density
They're not going to give
changes
you
to
that.
the volume and the temperature and pressure.
He's talking in comparison to what Neil's just laid out. And what are you going to give? The surface area in inches of a molecule that it's allegedly colliding with? Like, how are you going to qualify this in any meaningful terms? Well, you'd have to give the amount of molecules in a given area or volume to begin with, so you could quantify it by how much they're going to collide with each other at what rate based on how many there are in a given area. Otherwise, you're just saying what the PSI values replaced with surface area of a molecule. It's absurd.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why you just tell them you want volume in containment, because then they can't twist anywhere.
Yeah.
What volume?
Neil, is there any sort of, obviously, reified maths attached to this?
No, it's just simple physics.
Yes, there is. There is.
To have,
Asking
Let
Neil.
me give it to you.
Hold on, it's Neil's.
The guy said, okay, in the beginning he said, I always hear pressure defined as the force exerted by particles on the walls of the container they're being held in. This makes sense since the mathematical definition of pressure is P equals F over A. So can pressure exist without the walls to exert force on? And then he goes into what I read before.
But does he qualify what he goes on to? So he's justified it by saying you've got to have a container and how you'd qualify it, only to then say, yeah, but they bounce off each other as well. Well, they're elastic. Yeah. The problem with that declaration is the collisions are elastic. They're not creating force, they're elastic collisions. Adam detailed this about 2 weeks ago when he was on. Well, the net collision resulting in no change or transfer of energy, just a elastic collision. Look it up. So no, it's the force exerted on the walls of the container based on the number of particles and how many times they're going to collide with the wall and how many square inches it's going to collide on. That's what it's calculated with. He declares it at the beginning of the statement.
Yeah, he's debunking himself.
Pressure equals force over area, right? He gave it in that formula. I can't remember what he gave now.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So he's made a declaration of how the maths would work and then goes on to make a supposition that defies elastic collisions. Meaningless drivel.
Listen to this. He gives an example. You're going to crack up with this. An example would be a self-gravitating ball of gas, such as a star.
All right. So another circular reasoning. Appeal to their fundy belief in a sky vacuum and gas here without containment and stars in a sky vacuum that are gas burning without containment. Yeah, just appeal to a whole load of second law of thermodynamics violations to justify your nonsense that doesn't even have any maths attached and already justifies the thing that debunks it in the first statement. Yeah, great citation.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing that gas laws actually are evidence for what I wouldn't say it's a claim because it's natural law, and they still come and say we have nothing just because they point to the sky.
All laws are on our side of the argument. Not just gas law, all laws.
Obviously, it's reality.
Listen to this. An example would be a self-gravitating ball of gas such as a star. Another example of how an enormous pressure can exist even without containing walls is a dynamic situation such as the laser-driven implosion of a NIF capsule. In this case, very large pressures are supported by the inertia of the mass of the capsule itself. Of course, such a situation can only exist for a short time before the capsule flies apart.
Right, this would
Can I
take place
demonstrate
in...
that?
Hold on. That takes place in...
Where is this capsule?
Yeah, what's this occurring inside? A machine. that creates
Yeah.
this capsule, as they put it in inverted commas, inside a container, correct? And they're saying
inside
this
the
capsule,
yes.
which they're describing as gas pressure without a container, exists within a container, correct?
Correct.
But they also do the Thunderfoot trick of looking at the sky vacuum, as claimed by them, when asked to prove it, and saying, well, there's a ball of gas burning in a sky vacuum, hence proving my sky vacuum, because I assume the sun is burning ball of gas in vacuum in violation of natural law, proving we can violate natural law, which is inviolable. No, just appeal to their own fundamentalist religious belief as a proof of their fundamentalist religious belief, just like Thunderfoot Clown.
Yeah, and he gets it from here. The second answer is the pressure of gas is defined as the force of the gas, the force the gas would exert upon a surface or container. However, there is no need for a container for pressure to exist. For instance, the air you're breathing right now, unless you're in an airplane or submarine, has pressure due to the column of atmosphere above you. Stars are balls of gas, plasma actually, that are pressurized by gravity. No containers to be seen.
Right, so air, gas, is an anisotropic, inhomogeneous mixture of gases. It does not form layers, it does not form columns, and gravity is not a force. So we don't have homogenized layers or pillars of gas pulled down, go boom boom like bouncy balls in a fish tank by a not actual force of gravity. To have gas pressure, you require containment. And we ask, given that this assertion, used in this case as a claim proof of the assertion, how can we have gas pressure without a container? His response, look outside, we've got gas pressure without a container. I believe the sky is a vacuum. That's his circular reasoning justification for the question of how we have gas in the first place without a container. Well, we don't have a container. That's how we have gas without it. That's useless. This guy's a moron. What's his name?
Let me see. This is Physics Stack Exchange. That's the site.
Does it give the name of the author? So he can be
Let me
scorned
see.
by flat earthers for his stupidity. Or hers.
Let me see. Edited. Is that the editor?
I guess so.
Daniel? Oh no, the answers are from a guy called Scientism and Daniel Griscom.
No
there
PhD
you have
after
it.
their name. Just low-level
Well-
ignorant morons then.
Yeah, but
Just
this
post
is
it.
what I'm saying is when you look for answers, let's say on however we get our information through the internet or encyclopedias, this is what they give you. So like, how can you be mad at these people?
Well, they're the us I was describing and debating with someone I can't remember a few days back when I'm like, it might have been
Yeah, it was me.
Arwin. I'm talking about Andrew Thomas Young. You're creating part of the narrative by publishing something like that, and you're just a dude. And these two guys, just dudes, edited by some dude, published by some dude, and there you have it. Suddenly we've got isotropic layers of gas, homogenized like bloody plywood. That's not how gas behaves. It definitely doesn't go down, go boom boom when it's expanding in all directions to fill the availability of volume, as he describes in the article. It's outrageous, really. They drop in the bit that destroys their own argument like it's somehow a defence. Well, according to how gas behaves, you've got to have a container. But if you look at the sky, given that we're being asked how that has gas pressure without containment, I'm going to assert that that's gas pressure without containment. So you're not answering the question, you're just repeating back the question like it's an answer. Yeah, how do we have that gas pressure without containment? Not just, I think it is gas pressure without containment. Natural law dictates that if this black area was 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum, then the gas at high pressure would expand in all directions to fill the availability volume. It's natural law. Free expansion into a vacuum, as described by the second law of thermodynamics, based on how bloody gas behaves. Doesn't go down, go boom boom. It's not forming layers. It's just absurd nonsense from idiots.
Gee, I think a guy named 10th Man did a video called "What Is a Vacuum?"
Well, the good news is
And it was
the good news is everything is being challenged now. It's not
Well,
just us; it's getting around. Everybody's
Well,
challenging this now.
Even on Jose's last night, everybody was saying, no, it's not a vacuum. No, it's not separate. You know, they're all throwing their own model now under the bus because they know every angle we take is just destroying them.
Well, I've never seen a baller go into a convenience store and say, "Give me a volume of milk" or "Give me a mass of milk."
Don't let it stress you, because there's a breaking point in the argument where there's got to be a point where the people with cognitive dissonance effectively relinquish their own argument like it's a rebuttal. It's the end of the argument. Now, that can be frustrating for those of us that just want them to say, yeah, I appreciate the sky is not a vacuum. But what are they actually saying? You're saying the guys on the Globe side on a different non-flat earth debate related channel are saying the sky's not a vacuum, and then to go on to justify why it isn't precisely what they claim it is. Yeah? Well, that's the end of the road. Like with a geometric horizon blocking boats and buildings. We don't have a geometric horizon, says Globe Believer. Yeah, bye-bye, Globe Belief. No, it still means I can retain it. Okay, well, we'll just laugh at you while you do. Your models become untenable. Same with your sky vacuum. Oh, what? So it's unfalsifiable and not a vacuum? That's their current rebuttal? Yeah, welcome to Flat Earth. What, we don't have second reference frame turning underneath, no drift? Welcome to Flat Earth. Oh, we don't have a geometric horizon blocking boats and buildings, it can't be seen. Welcome to Flat Earth. Not, no, you guys believe you've got a geometric... Fuck that. Excuse my French.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to run out of welcome mats, welcoming every argument that they have to go back and change because it's the science is not settled. So welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, I said a long time ago, Nathan should not say welcome to Flat Earth, but he should say get the hell out of Flat Earth.
Wow.
Well, a lot of people on this panel have probably had cognitive dissonance at some stage during their journey, Neil. So if I was to tell everyone to sod off when they're here, I said it was Zinda. It was reminded because QE replayed it. He's here, or was at the time, discussing this matter. So there's people who have no cognitive dissonance because there's none to be had. They just know they're on a sphere and it's nothing to be concerned about. Then there's the next step, which is cognitive dissonance. The Zindas, the Eds. They hold two different contrasting positions simultaneously. It can't be squared. It's a circle that's unsquareable. So what do? They come and challenge us. Well, that's one step along that road, isn't it? Well, if you want to tell them to bugger off, well, I've got a whole show about that. You know what I mean?
That was great, that one with Zinda, because he was saying, I'm not saying science. I don't want to, that's your science.
What is science?
That's
exactly,
our science. Scientific method, he claimed, was QE scientific method.
But the point is that up until 2019, we were told, maybe even earlier, 2017, we were told that the whole body of science proves that we're on a sphere. Now we're at the stage where they don't even want to declare science because they know they're going to get pummeled. So they don't want to say it. They want to go, that's your science. It's like, we don't go around saying science proves a flat earth. We've never said it. We won't say it. That's not what we say. They, the Globers, have said science proves we're on a globe. Simple fact. They've got a whole different discipline they call science that's not science so that they can claim we're on a sphere. And everyone's been duped by it and thinks they've been real science achievements achieved, and they haven't been. So they go around punting that they've got science, and they haven't. That's why we rip them apart on their lack of it. But then they don't want to. They don't want to use it. They don't want to say they've got any science anymore because they know they're terrified of their own claims at the moment. They're terrified to claim they've got drift. They're terrified to claim they've got a geometric horizon blocking boats and buildings. They're terrified to claim they've got a vacuum. It's like, my God, do you not know what your religion is? It's a spinning ball flying through a vacuum. But yet you don't want to claim it's a vacuum, you don't want to claim it's spinning, and you don't want to claim we've got a geometric horizon. Well, what have you got? I'll tell you what you've got. You've got a flat earth beneath your feet that's not spinning. That's what you've got.
Yep. They run away from every argument and still claim victory.
Well, we're back to the beginning of the question. The science is settled. So semantics is very important. What science are you talking about? Are you talking about the scientific method?
No.
Or are you talking about natural science?
No.
Are you talking about social science? Are you talking about knowledge of different things?
But
they gotta be
I only know
precise
of
here.
one
But
science.
then scientific method is natural sciences, by the way.
No, I know,
Correct.
I know. I'm just saying that when you look up a university's courses on science, you can see, because the word science means knowledge. So they attach science. That's what I'm saying. It's interchangeable to the word knowledge. Knowledge of this, knowledge of that, knowledge of that. But then you say, what can you prove empirically? Well, that has to go through the scientific method, which has to do with what? Our natural world.
Oh,
It can only be applied there.
now Now I understand. So I am a paint scientist because I do painting science.
No,
You have
no,
knowledge of paint.
Stop. So what that actually gets answered as, because there's a question on the table from 10th Man, what science do they have? Well, they have a definition for what they've claimed. They called it science. Now, you've got Flatsoid saying I'm a painting scientist. Well, that's useful. Once it's declared to be science, if there's not been an adherence to the scientific method, it falls under a new definition. Pseudoscience. So, soon as he says, I'm a scientist in paint, unless he's establishing the cause and effect reasoning behind a man-made product, which he's not going to be, he's definitely become a pseudoscience practitioner in that declaration, as have all who claimed science proved a sphere. Ultimately, any declaration that hasn't adhered to that method is pseudoscience. That's the definition.
Yeah, not actual.
Well, if Flatsoid says he's a scientific painter, he's a tint off. I tell you that.
Well, I do deal with entropy every day.
Watch him paint dry.
That's great. Oh, so much fun.
Can I read something else?
You can, of course. You've got 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
This is why I always go back to the Bible. It's in Timothy, and he's given instruction to Timothy saying, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Or should I put pseudoscience in there? Thank you very much.
That's Timothy what?
1 Timothy 6:19.
Yeah, that's as poignant as it could get. Absolutely that which is labelled science and isn't. That's pseudoscience, that's the definition, and precisely what we've currently got claiming we're on a sphere. Well said. Well read. There must be a word. It's not quoted, isn't it? When you say well read from scripture, there must be a shorter word.
Well, we usually just say excellent scripture.
Excellent scripture.
It's superb, old chap.
Just poignant.
You got British on it.
Just poignant and on point. You know, that's what it is. Do you want to read it again?
Well, we live in the world.
Hold on. Just read it one more time, Neil.
Okay. It starts at verse 19. It says, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to your trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So I just put pseudoscience in there.
Yeah. Science falsely so called is pseudoscience. Vain
Correct.
babblings. Wow, doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah. They have vain
Ed?
babblings, and we have real science. Yeah, you could say Ed too. You could put a number of names in there.
Yeah, that's not.
Well, it's important because what happens is that people in the trenches come in here with the vain babblings. Like you said, the normies just accepts it. There's no cognitive dissonance until you bring it up to them. And then the normies, like the eyes get really wide open and they're going, wow, I've never thought about it that way. But then when the guys come here in the trenches, they have thought about it. And they still want to defend the undefendable. So they have two positions on, at least minimum two positions on each argument. But here's the problem. The two positions are at the other end of the argument, opposing each other, and they hold both. Who would listen to a guy like that?
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, Patsoid and Chocolate Saiyan, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
4 more hours.
Hey.
Good morning,
Guten Tag.
baby, yeah.
Goedemorgen.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Very enthusiastic lot. Excellent. Almost a whole week of enthusiastic good mornings at the beginning of the live show. Couldn't be more pleased. Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Definitely not. Any Globus want to challenge that?
It's only in the maths, right?
Well, we could summarise their position if no one pipes up. We'll just give it a couple more seconds. Is there any newbies I've not taken off mute? Fuck it.
Don't do that because they might think it's our position.
Yeah, well, Chocolate, you're way ahead of me. That's precisely why I'm going to do it. So, the current, well, no, not exactly, because I'm going to give their rebuttal. Their current rebuttal is to say that we don't see a geometric physical sphere edge horizon. It can't be seen and can't be measured, even though it's the basis of the maths. That's their rebuttal.
Yeah, refraction. But how do you get refraction without having a geometric horizon?
That's not a rebuttal. They may assert that here. That's not a rebuttal because their refraction is using the R value, the very thing we're asking about, its physicality, and their claim it blocks things. Well, they're saying that the refraction used in your claim to be a rebuttal, but isn't, is based on that R value. So the fact that you can't see or measure that R value by way of a geometric physical sphere edge horizon and a dip angle measurement utilised by Al-Biruni or anything other than that, you can't use R to move the horizon with R if you can't measure R. So that's not a rebuttal.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello.
It's not a rebuttal. It's a concession.
Yeah, exactly. It implodes the model. It puts the model into a paradox. Whoever that was in Discord, yes, go ahead. And shout out to Troy Dorr for the
Nathan.
super chat. Thank you. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi. I have a question. I've been listening to you for like a week now, and you guys make a lot of good points, but you do, the same questions every day. I was just wondering, how come you guys don't like take it to the next step and try to do an experiment? Like you guys buy a rocket, put an iPhone on there, send it up, something
up where
that could
okay,
help
sure.
out your
send
claims.
it up where?
Like I seen on YouTube, an amateur rocket that went up. I thought you guys could do something similar, a balloon with a phone.
Yeah, for what purpose? What are we looking for with this imagery that comes back? Where's it going, and what are we looking for in the footage?
Well, because you could do, like you guys are going through these questions every day, but if you never do an experiment,
yeah, I heard that. We heard all that.
You're just going to be talking.
I heard. I don't need you to repeat
talk.
yourself. I heard. You don't need to repeat that. My question, I'll repeat slower. What are we looking for in the imagery you say we should acquire?
To see what's up there. Isn't that the whole point of the discussion?
What's up where?
Above our heads.
And that's going to prove what now?
It's going to prove your claim that you can't have vacuum without a physical barrier, or it's going to prove their claim that you just fly out into space.
I see. number one, that's not a claim I make, that's natural law. You mistakenly think that my claim that you can't have gas pressure without a container is a claim, when it's in fact natural law. Inviolable. Do you know what inviolable means? Not a claim I'm making, not something that needs proving. Inviolable natural law. So you can't have gas pressure without a container. I believe we covered this with you personally less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, no, we spoke yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
briefly.
I know. I haven't got a short memory. So you appreciated and conceded that the sky is definitely not a vacuum yesterday. Less than 24 hours.
I agree with your.
So why are you now
logic
challenging
in
me?
that.
So you agree. So thank you. Why are you now challenging me to send some balloon up to a sky vacuum when I can already disprove it and have done with you personally within the last 24 hours? Why would I now need to send a balloon up when, by your own words, and now Fundy muting through my demolition of your claim that you think I need to now disprove, even though I've already done it within the last 24 hours? What on earth would I be trying to achieve given that I've already achieved it with you personally within the last day?
Well, it's achieving would be. Let's see what is we're actually. If you just sit here and do this debate every day, it's just words going back
third
and forth.
repetition. I heard.
See what reality
I heard.
Can I
Do you think I need it 3
Can I
times?
finish?
Hello. I
Can
don't
I
need you
finish?
to repeat your claim 3
Can I
times.
finish my sentence?
I heard it the second and first time you said it. I don't need a third repetition, you dumb fool. I heard if you're going to sit here doing the debates, then you need to go out and do an experiment. You think I need it a third time, you dumb cracker? I heard. I asked you what it was going to achieve.
Obviously.
Don't talk through me, you fundy fuckwit. I'm telling you, I've already disproved the sky is a vacuum. You've told me to send up a balloon to try and prove it either way. I've already debunked it with you personally, and your response is to repeat the same thing for the 3rd time and tell me you need to get to the end of your sentence about debates and what they're achieving and not experiments. I heard. I'm not deaf. So, we're not going to be going up to disprove a sky vacuum with a balloon then. Your suggestion is ludicrous, pointless, absurd, and I've already debunked the thing you're trying to get us to try and disprove with this nonsense. Do you understand?
So we should never go out into reality.
You can concede that the sky's not a vacuum already because you've already done it within the last 24 hours, you idiot.
No, yeah, you could prove your logic.
Yeah. So we don't need to go up in a fucking balloon. You've already conceded it's beyond the constraints of natural law. I don't need a balloon. Hello? So what else are we looking for? We're not going to be disproving sky vacuum. I've already done it. So anything else you think we should achieve with this balloon you suggest we send up?
No, we should just...
So shut up, you stupid dick. Sit down with your balloon suggestion and know your stupid place here. That's to shut up, listen to the educated people, and not suggest things that you're not doing when I've already disproved the point it doesn't make. You stupid idiot. Now sit down and try and comprehend the things we tell you. Okay?
Yes,
Good
sir.
dog. Sit down and know your place, you idiot. Send a balloon up. You send a balloon up.
You nonce.
See what you see, moron. See if you see a sky vacuum when you send up a balloon, rather than challenging me on what I do. I do this daily. I've made more strides in this subject than you've had our dinners. Don't tell me what to do with a balloon when you've already seen them on YouTube not disproving the sky vacuum, and I'm doing it with natural law. For you, within the last day. How short's your memory, you thicko?
No, I'm just saying...
Don't just say anything. Sit down and shut up. Know how stupid you are and how much you're getting told off for your stupidity by a flat earther. Understand your place. That's being told off by me. The flat earther who knows what's what has already told it you within the last 24 hours, and you see fit to challenge with some absurd claim that can't be disproven with a balloon. You understand me, you idiot?
Challenging anything.
Yeah, you are. You're challenging me to send a fucking balloon up to disprove a sky vacuum because I've tied you down on what you think you'll achieve with this shit. And it won't. What it will achieve is 0. You yet to tell me what else you think this balloon I should send up will achieve. It won't disprove a sky vacuum. Natural law does that. You already conceded it, you idiot.
So if you sit in your house all day just talking,
So you want to ad hom me now if I sit in my house all day? This is my job. Sat in my house. I call this my studio. It's my job. How dare you? The amount of people who work from home at the moment, and you're going to criticise me from doing this from here? You're going to criticise half the fucking world? They're all working from home at the moment, you stupid idiot. You think that's going to be a successful ad hominem attack?
it's not an ad hominem.
Yeah, what? You sit there at home? Yeah, I do. Pummeling your globe faith based on natural law. Not balloons I should send up, idiot.
If there's no action, just talk, then you'll never find the truth. That's what.
That's an ad hom. Talk. I've described the annihilation of the sky vacuum by way of natural law, the entropy law, the increase of entropy that would dictate that we wouldn't have any air to breathe. You conceded it within the last 24 hours, and you're now telling me I'm not achieving anything because I'm not sending up your balloon to disprove a sky vacuum I've already debunked. You're a moron.
Nathan,
Go take some of your YouTube money and go.
Now that's an ad hom number 3, so you can get the fuck out of my show. You're not going to sit here and ad hom me 3 times in a row, you stupid dick. You'll be berated for your stupidity. Not, oh, you can take some of your YouTube money. I'll use that to feed my family. That's what I do with this money that I earn here. Limited though it is. However, my main purpose at the moment is berating a moron who thinks sending a balloon up will disprove something he's already conceded is fake. That would be the sky vacuum. Yeah, moron, the thing you conceded on yesterday's show? You asked what happened yesterday, 10th. This dick globe believer conceded the sky is not a vacuum. It sits directly in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. Without the container, there can be no pressure. And yet this dick sees fit to come here and challenge me to send a balloon to disprove something he's already conceded. What a wanker. Then chooses to ad hom me about how I earn a living because I'm at home when half the world is at the moment. What a dick.
What is people's obsession?
Dude,
If you want to disprove
Nathan?
natural law, then why don't you try to do it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the point
You're breaking up,
I'm
Platzoid.
making is I'm here in South Africa, wherever he is in America. We all know, he knows scientifically, paint dries. Now he's telling me he has to come all the way to South Africa to make sure my paint dries. That's what he's saying.
Are you still trying to weasel in that you're a paint scientist?
Yeah, wear the lab coat.
So for those of you who aren't in the live show, just so they're in on the in-joke, Flatsoid was trying to claim he's a paint scientist in the pre-show, and I defined that as pseudoscience, but he's still banging that drum, right, Flatsoid?
I was just joking, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
many a true word. You think your science is paint, which is fair, man, because...
That's
Dude,
hang on.
It's
hang
very
on. That's
easy
the
to be a
last.
paid scientist. You just ask somebody, hey, you want to pay me 10 euros or something over PayPal for me to prove that water boils at 100 degrees? Science.
But
Nathan, how many housekeeping
Nathan?
questions do we have?
Hold on, Flatsoid's trying to get a
At
word
the
in.
moment.
Just one sec, Neil. Go ahead, Flatsoid.
Who's triggered?
Nobody's triggered. We're trying to get your words in. Go ahead, Neil.
Oh.
Not Neil. Flatsoid.
No, the conversation I was trying to get through to that guy was just because I'm here in another country, and scientifically, you know, with everything, paint does dry. It's the same as he's saying, yes, he knows paint dries, but he has to come to me to make sure the paint dries. That's how stupid it is.
Yeah, I see your point. Neil, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how many housekeeping questions do we have at the moment?
7, is it? Or 8?
Okay, so the good thing would be for somebody to have an answer for these housekeeping questions. Until then, we're going to keep going on and on and on because we have proof and they have assertions.
Yeah, that's correct. But what actually happened there was pure projection. I would prefer you were just one of those flat earthers sending balloons up, rather than getting me to concede the sky is not a vacuum. It would be much better for me if you were just sending balloons up. That's what that actually means.
So then just go burn some money then. That's the equivalence.
Yeah, and also his resentment at the fact that me pummeling his globe faith actually earns me a living. Horrible. Oh no, you earn money. Speaking of money, shout out to Sean Tibbetts. He says, bump. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Also, Rakia Life, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. It says, Happy Friday. I support those who I think are spreading truth. Rakia Life, I'm touched. Thank you very much indeed, Rakia Life, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Tough times. Thank
Shout
you very
out,
much.
Dracula Life.
That's Dave.
I'm glad I found this show, to be honest with you. I'm actually very glad I found this show. Shout out to David Weiss.
That reminds me.
Well,
it's-
that's the last time.
Hold on, just
That's the
before we go,
last time
Tenth,
I'm
just
going
one
to
sec,
take
just one sec,
flash.
just
Oh, go ahead.
one sec. Can you remind me after the housekeeping questions, Neil? Your shout out to Dave Weiss. I want to cover that. Just remind me. Go ahead, Tenth.
No, I was going to say in the pre-show, I said, hey, because I had to go yesterday. I missed most of the show. I said, hey, anything happened on the show? No, not really. And then this guy comes today. I'm saying, this is the last time Flatzoid and Neil are going to give me commentary on what happened on the show the day before.
Was that the after show, Nathan?
I couldn't
Did this guy
remember. I
come
don't
on the
remember
after
this. I
show
won't
or
remember
was it
this once
during
the
the
show
show?
finishes.
What
I think it was an
Nevertheless.
after show.
What are you talking about? And hello, by the way. Nathan.
Okay, let's just fill Arwin in.
Hey,
So,
Arwin.
hold on. Arwin, hello, first of all. We forgot
Hi.
what happened. I tend to switch off the moment the show finishes and just concentrate on the admin of publishing stuff. But that meant unless I watch the show after the fact, I can't really remember what happens. I'll forget this pretty soon after we finish. But there we go, that's me. And we were asked what happened, and we were like, I don't know. I think Arwin had a bit of a set to about one of his models, and then stormed off before he got pissed off. Came back a bit later. That's about it. In other words, nothing happened. And then the guy who actually conceded space is fake, who's a globe believer, came in and was like, about that space that's fake, you should be sending up a balloon to debunk it that way, rather than sitting here debating and earning a living. That's what he said. In summary, I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
So, Owen, you took our thought of a train yesterday. Congratulations.
Well, that's just not
I
the case,
did
though, is
what?
it? Obviously. So he took even Arwin's debate for his model, which eventually at the conclusion he stormed off rather than getting stroppy about it, which I defended you on in the pre-show, Arwin. They were like, oh, Arwin had a Mardi. I'm like, no, he didn't. He got to the end of the argument and then went away rather than getting stroppy about something personal to him, which was very wise. So you got credit from me and everyone else was like, hey, had a Mardi. Here you go, guys. I'm throwing you under the bus for Arwin now. You can defend your own horrors.
Well, I just left because I knew basically won my argument. And it was cleared up and everything, and then I was just too pissed off, So I don't want to throw out more rage win for no reason.
Exactly. That's
Well,
exactly what I
we
said.
love you, Owen.
That's exactly what I said before it turned into Arwin getting actually triggered. And I've seen Arwin triggered. He definitely wasn't. He went away. That's very wise, I think.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's do the rest of the housekeeping. Can we just rattle through them?
Sure.
Any evidence of
Maybe the next level, we'll try the next one.
Okay. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
Reference frames ruined.
Thanks, Dan.
I
Thanks,
don't
Ed.
mind the replies.
No more reference
You
frames.
can
What, just one more
you
time?
cannot claim coriolis and conservation of momentum at the same breath.
I'm thinking this is a good time to send up a balloon.
Well, go ahead then, Dan.
Will the Earth be rotating underneath that balloon?
I think that's
Supposed
what
to.
he's getting at. He wants to send up a balloon to see if the Earth is a globe and it's rotating. Maybe he wants to find the horizon. See if the horizon rises to eye level. I don't know.
I was looking for Flatzoid's video, but I can't scroll up through the chat and I can't remember which one it's in. So can I just
That's
get
quite far up.
somebody to quote Simon Dan, and then we'll move on to the next one.
You and your reference frames have been ruined.
Perfect. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence.
It's over
Please,
there.
Owen, not today.
It's over there, shining bright, and I don't know what it is. It appears to be there.
It's not
It
shining
It's
by
a
appears-
light
me.
in the sky. It's a light in the
appears-
sky. That's what it is.
Yeah, it appears to make you burn if you stand long enough under it.
I don't know. I think that more has to do with the light hitting my skin rather than any object or apparent object being out there.
These are all wrong. I look it up and it says that you can attain gas pressure without a container because look at the sun and look at the stars.
Okay.
This is again from the pre-show. So a quote from some nobodies, presumably on Quora or something. It's basically saying, I appeal, in the same way Thunderfoot did, to my idea that these lights in the sky are actually burning balls of gas in a sky vacuum. So when you ask, how could the sky be a vacuum? All the gas we breathe would fill it. I just point at it and say it's a vacuum, and that proves it. And when you ask me how we can have gas pressure here without containment, I say, check it out. We've got gas pressure and no containment, proving it. It's just circular reasoning. But that was the example given by Neil, and we named and shamed the authors in the pre-show.
Well, what do you think the sun is, Nathan?
How would I prove it's a burning ball of gas in a sky vacuum, Neil? I don't know. Maybe I should get to it. Maybe I should send a balloon up.
But how do you know it's burning in the first place?
We don't know anything about it. This intangible object.
Because when you zoom in on the apparition, it kind of looks like you could interpret it as something burning. Kind of looks a little fiery, I think.
Doesn't it give off heat?
Let's just draw a line into this. If you burn things in the atmosphere here, under controlled circumstances with spectroscopy, you can get a signature of the light that is burnt. And then you can assert that the light is also burning in the sky vacuum and producing the same signature. Therefore, it is the same by way of coloration. That's the wrong word, isn't it?
Correlation.
Correlation, that's the one I was looking for. It's correlated with the spectroscopy done under controlled circumstances. So that's where they get their information in terms of what they say it is. Moving on.
Can I add one thing real quick before you move on, Nathan?
Feel free.
Thanks. Good morning, guys. I know sending a balloon up is absurd, but what about like an explorer yacht? I know I've heard 10th mention it once or twice. I was thinking about doing that myself. How do you feel about finding out what's out there through exploration?
I didn't hear the question.
Well, Bennett,
I got it again.
He's talking about an explorer yacht instead of a balloon, like navigating the oceans on an explorer yacht.
Oh, I see. Go ahead, 10th.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So,
dude,
so
Zeppelins.
yeah.
Freaking Zeppelins, guys. Come on.
Hold on.
Right.
Go ahead, 10th.
Yes, you can get a nice Nordhaven that's made to cruise the oceans. You can get a Benetti. There's a nice one coming out. Hasn't been
I don't
built
think that's
yet.
what he's asking.
Right. No,
said,
you're right about the Nordhaven 10th. I love Nordhavens, but I mean, just as opposed to sending a balloon up in the
Well,
sky,
hang on, I'm getting to,
how do you feel about
getting
exploring?
to it. Okay. A balloon would be a lot cheaper. Okay, but if you're going to do an explorer yacht, you're going to have crew. You're going to have range, at least 8,000 to 16,000 mile range. So you're talking a lot of expense. So we're trying to still finish up Nathan's panels in his studio at the moment.
But then don't forget, you're also going to have the correct papers and stuff for different parts of the ocean. I mean, they've got a lot of restrictions where you're allowed to go.
Listen, I got a navigator who's a baller who I follow and have been in contact with. He doesn't know I'm a flat earther, though. And he would be a guy I would invite if someone was to fund such a trip. If someone was to fund such a trip, it'd be in the millions of dollars. It would take at least 5 years. So, yeah, if someone wants to fund it, I can run it at no pay. Just let me go on the journey.
According to people, Nathan can fund it.
Yeah, you and your couch.
Speaking of cash, thank you to Rakia Life again, who says, Happy Friday again. I support those who are spreading truth. Rakia Life. This super chat is science. No, it isn't. Repeatable, natural, and anyone can replicate. Oh, how sweet. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Rakia Life, really appreciate it.
Well, I kind of agree. That's like a cause and effect, isn't it? Him sending you money.
I hate to disagree with the super chatter, right? But no. Shout out to Del West Watson, who says, all hail Dearth. Indeed, all hail Dearth. He's in our chat right now. Hey, Dearth, good to see you. I'm going to come to something about Dearth after we finish the housekeeping, if Neil will remind me. Not that I'm going to forget by the looks.
You're going to give us Dearth on Dearth?
No, not at all. There is no dirt on Earth. How dare you even suggest such a notion?
No, that's a pot. That's the good stuff. We're going to get the real dirt on dirt from you because you like dirt.
You don't put any dirt on the boss. Don't you know he's the boss?
It's not dirt, it's dithr. Say it right. No,
Ditrah.
nobody says it right.
Ditrh. I was going to contact you. I just didn't get around to it. I was going to. My intention, although I didn't do this on one of the most recent videos, it was the debate between Ed and myself about a helicopter not having Earth turning underneath it at 15 degrees an hour, as is asserted it should. And my intention, although, like I say, I didn't get around to it, was to request Dave Weiss's footage of a drone just watching the sun. Because effectively that is, because from memory, he's got one that's up there for ages, comes down, charges up, goes back up again, but it's just looking at the same spot. It's essentially in what is claimed to be the inertial reference frame with Earth not turning underneath it. It's a really, really useful demonstration. I just haven't got around to asking him for the link for it.
So-
Maybe-
So his demonstration. So his
I have-
demonstration actually validated my balloon demonstration. Right?
Exactly. It's exactly the same as your balloon demonstration. Precisely. It's the same thing.
Hold on. Don't drones have auto-correct? Basically, if a wind blows, that they keep themselves in place?
Glad you brought it up. So
Uh-huh.
let's assume that that's correct. Let's go with Arwin's suggestion. So it's suggested that the drone takes off at the equator and has got motors and GPS tracking that could compensate for the fact that it's now in a second inertial reference frame detached from the Earth spinning underneath. So that would suggest that the motors in that drone can compensate for 1,000 miles an hour drift. Arwin.
Well, not very close to the Earth's surface.
It's still got to cope with the second reference
No,
frame
but
that's claimed.
no. I
Yeah.
wasn't claiming that it corrects for coriolis. That's what a baller would do. But I do know that they have this mechanism for sudden wind shit and all
Sure.
that. Not all drones, by the way, but the more expensive ones do. And I think David has one of those.
I appreciate
have
that.
such
And
a
yes, I'm sure
stable-
that's true. I'm sure it can keep it in the same
stable
spot
footing.
relative to the wind and so forth if it moves in its location compared to GPS. However, if it's going to be utilising that as is often used as a defence when they are claiming the drift they actually have as their rhetoric, that would require it to compensate for 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath as a non-inertial spinning reference frame. Well, if that was the case, then the drone would have to compensate for 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. So the drone goes up, you push the stick, it's then in the inertial reference frame, not attached to the spinning reference frame. Well, therefore, you're going to watch that drone, if it's true, and we do have 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath as a non-inertial spinning reference frame, you're going to watch it appear to drift away from you. That means it's actually going to drift away from you at 1,000 miles an hour. And if you're suggestive that the GPS could cope with that, it would mean that the motors would have to compensate for 1,000 miles an hour to keep up with the ground that's moving underneath it. Now, I know you're not saying that, Albin. You're just saying, yeah, they can compensate for it moving about a bit in the wind. That's nothing to do with the second reference frame that would be turning underneath. If it's true, as they claim, we have 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath second reference frame.
Right.
Can I just bring up 2 points?
So there would be clouds moving at 1,000 miles an hour as well, and everything else. And hey, if
Yeah.
you're going to feel all that, there would be constant giant gales of winds.
Absolutely, you're spot on. All directions of surface winds. So no, we've got multiple directions of surface winds, which comes up in the rebuttal. They say, oh no, it's all travelling together. Number one. So no 15 degrees an hour deviation then. One's not drifting apart from the other at 15 degrees an hour then, precisely as you claim proves Earth spins. They travel together, no drift. Yeah? Also absurd. We've got multiple directions of surface winds. You can look up and see clouds moving in different directions at the same location. Absolutely absurd. Maris, who's one of my Patreons, shouts out Rakia Life and says, shout out Rakia Life. Thank you very much for the super chat, Maris. Really appreciate the support. Also, another shout out to Rakia Life. Happy Friday. I support those who spread truth. Last super chat proves pseudoscience. We can pay the bills. Shout out to David Weiss. Indeed. Thank you again for the hat trick of super chats, Dave Rakia Gafford or Rakia Life. Really appreciate the support. We were going to rush through the housekeeping.
Nathan,
Go on.
also don't forget angular velocity changes with altitude. So when you're on the ground, it's supposed to change 460 meters a second on your feet. So imagine a drone that's, let's say, a kilometer above. It's going to be much more than 460 meters a second.
Yeah, and all that's coping with is the cause of a coriolis deflection, if there was one. So the deflection itself is you on a ground that's spinning under stuff that isn't. That's what gives you coriolis. So it's coined, I can't remember by who, as being like the coriolis vision, because it's not an effect that has anything to do with the momentum, the actual trajectory of a projectile you watch. So the drone in this example has got a trajectory and movement and power going to it to make it go up in the air. Well, all of that has sod all to do with Coriolis deflection because it's only ever observable by you on a spinning platform. So to see it, you've got to be spinning underneath it. Sod all to do with its powered flight or otherwise, because you're just observing something that seems to drift away from you when it's hovering. If Earth's turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour, as they claim, and we simply don't observe that effect. Flatsoid's balloon, David Weiss's drone, they are perfect examples. The Earth is simply not turning underneath these items at 15 degrees an hour, and it's supposed to. They claim it does. They claim it turns under footballs and bullets, and we're supposed to be turning under the sun because we're a second reference frame, 15 degrees an hour, right? Bob's claimed to have proven this, right? They're in my comments at the moment, the trolls, and they don't want to say, thanks, Bob. There's just a handful of them that have got it as their screen name, and their immediate reply from me is, quote, Simon Dan, you and your reference frames have been ruined. And whose reference frames? We haven't got any.
According to Ed, the reason why we don't see it, how could there be any deflection if there's no course, Nathan?
Then there's no deflection. The course would be apparent. In other words, you'd see it happening, it would drift away. It's like he's asking me why, if there's no deflection at 15 degrees an hour, how can there be deflection? And then calling me an idiot. It's like, well, you're telling me there isn't any deflection. It's not drifting away. But that should be apparent. I.e., you should see it happen. 1,000 miles an hour, it should drift away on the equator. Apparent, meaning it should actually happen. Not happen, and then ask us why it's not happening. Earth's supposed to turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. We're all well aware of this now. You know, we can actually kiss Bob and thank him for it. Thank you, Bob. Everyone's now well aware, thanks to Bob and Netflix, that it's claimed Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That would shorten flight times and have drones whizzing away from you at 1,000 miles an hour. That would be apparent. And isn't.
No, but Ed was...
I got something for you from Ed and Master V.
Right. But
Okay.
I wanted to clarify while people look that up, what Ed really was so frustrated about. He got so pissed off because he was like, why are you bringing this supposed Coriolis deviation of the spinning Earth up when the helicopter obviously is not deviating, Nathan? That is really what he was doing, I think.
Yeah.
Because you could hear it in his voice. You could hear he thought he had an opening. My bad, Flatsoid. I was going to say you could hear. Go ahead. My bad.
Apparently, there's some ballers trying to get in to talk, but they say the room is full. Can we make a space for them?
For who?
Whoever's not participating in Discord, get out and let the ballers in.
Yeah, negotiate
Simple.
with your own ballers if they're not talking. You know, they talk to me. I'm running a live show. Anyway, I've got this Ed Freeze chat up. Arwin, you mean when I bursted out in laughter because Nathan ruined himself and his straw man reference frames? Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, keep debunking your own reference frames. You can put it on me all you like, Fundies. I'm actually encouraging it from now. Debunk my summary of you and your reference frames that Dan says are ruined. Feel free to keep debunking when I've summarised it and falling into the same trap as Dan. There's a guy in the comment section that keeps saying there's like Shadow 949 where I detail how a guy would drift. It's like, yeah, you guys claim drift. I'm detailing how drift occurs. And they're saying, there you go, there's your straw man that Simon Dan's debunking. It's like, no, that's me summarising your claim. But feel free to keep debunking it, like the idiot Simon Dan has done. Great, kudos. My reference frames, no, I don't have any. But you claim 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. Drones and bullets and balls and helicopters. Oh yeah, we don't see it happen. That's bad.
I really don't get these ballers. Why do... When you were literally lighting out how Simon Dan did that for so long, so intensely, obviously we laughing about it very hard because it's such a stupid mistake. Why are people following suit? Why are people following him in his tracks like he actually solved something? This is so absurd.
Let him head first straight into a spike-filled, feces-covered trap. So you want to find a show where I summarize how drift occurs? Yeah, that's me summarizing how you and your reference frame describe a 15-degree-an-hour drift as Earth turns underneath. So you want to debunk me summarizing that? Be my guest! Fall straight into that pit with Dan! Great!
Dan and Ed.
They're all doing it at the moment. No, it's your reference frames. Okay, go on then, debunk them. Show us how we don't have drift. At 15 degrees an hour to prove Earth's turning underneath. You debunk that. Go ahead. Be my guest.
Well, I think that Simon Dan was first, so I think that technically he really is a fallacy pioneer, and the others are following him.
Yeah, Dan's going to lead these lemmings straight off the edge of the cliff.
Can I call out Mr. Pudding? He's challenging me in Discord. He says I must challenge him out, so I'm calling him out. What's up, Mr. Pudding?
I haven't finished housekeeping, you know.
Yeah, just want to see if he's a coward or not.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
What's the speed of a gravitational wave?
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's the speed of a science?
Would that be F equals ma or em squared?
Is that a cause and effect relationship established with an independent and dependent variable, validated by systematic experimentation, or would that be a bit of maths?
Shit, I got nothing, sorry.
Any scientific evidence of gravity? Going once.
Would be thinking of it as a force count as evidence?
Can we think of it as something? That's definitely not science. That's not even a phenomena.
Yeah, then we got a problem. Because the only other thing that's left is basic conceptual mediums, and yeah, they don't have anything empirical about them to establish science, unfortunately.
Let's widen the net a bit. Any single viable hypothesis at all from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Not even from paintology.
No.
Well, I want to make a small joke, though.
Feel free.
Maybe it's in the field, but I think that probably astrophysicists predicted satellite space debris. Did you see the video?
From Geo.
What's a satellite? What's a satellite? Where's a satellite? What's space? And how is debris coming from there if it violates natural law?
But they predicted it, and now it's common knowledge.
Would that be a Mystic Meg, Nostradamus prediction, or a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis?
I think it was mostly a mathematical prediction.
Abstract.
About a conceptual medium and setup and all that. With presuppositions. So.
Let's just give it clarity then. When I say viable hypothesis, I mean within physics.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a dead end then.
Are you trying to say something that's in a violation of nature is a problem for another thing that's in a violation of nature, which is not predicted because entropy will take place no matter where it is?
Yes. Super Chat Day says, Sean Tibbets, certainly seems to be. I'm not moaning. Thank you very much for the Super Chat. Yeah, any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container, and as it's on screen, if it's claimed that this black area is 10 to the minus 17 torr, vacuum, the most powerful vacuum indescribable, and this is high pressure gas, not filling it, that would be a violation of natural law. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Can you have volume without containment?
Send the balloon up, Nathan, and you will find that evidence.
No, flatsoid.
So Negator is wrong then?
Negator's wrong. They're all very wrong. They all think the sky's a vacuum. They're nuts.
Yeah, they think gas falls down, go boom boom.
Oh, shout out to Thunderfoot, clown. Gas does not go down, go boom boom like bouncy balls in a fish tank with a single downward vector of gravity that's 105 years out of date. No. All vectors. Gas expands in all directions to fill the availability of volume. Call yourself a PhD, Thunderfoot. What clown? How humiliating.
I still don't know why they insist that outer space has to be a vacuum, you know? to let go of the idea that there might be a huge amount of volume out there. I get that that is very hard, but why would it have to be a vacuum just because the storytelling tradition told them it is? It could just be a giant amount of gas-filled space. Giant amount. Who knows?
Well, Owen, they're throwing that out the window now as well. They don't want it to be a vacuum anymore. Now it's just a very low pressure system.
Yeah, but it should not even be a very low pressure system, just slightly lower. Slightly.
Yeah, okay. They say it's 10 to the minus 17 to a vacuum. Definitely not the case. Sky's not a vacuum. Hey, Brian.
Exactly.
Hey Nathan, hey everybody, and I just want to say a big special hello to our resident paleontologist, Flatside.
Right. Painting isn't science. Flatside might be good at his job, but it's not science.
To Arwen's statement, why they don't want to change what outer space is. Well, these are the same people who say the science is settled, and at the same time say science doesn't prove things.
Body of science, Nathan.
Which branch
I don't
of science?
think it's the designers that say that. That's just the public relations figures. Really. The talkers on camera say that. I don't think that the people actually bending over how it's supposed to work say that.
No, my point was, if we were there when whoever started this and had these housekeeping questions, they would say that because they want to push something without evidence and then claim that the way they do it is obviously scientific evidence.
Like the Ballers, when they had their housekeeping questions a few months ago, which only lasted for what, a few weeks?
One episode.
Yeah, you're right.
They're so all over the map with their statements. They even attribute something to Sir Isaac Newton that he didn't even want it attributed to him. That's how bad they are.
Yeah, but it wasn't even fully coherent sentences.
But they hold
positions. At the same time, Newton technically isn't really part of the supposed foundation anymore. No?
Yeah, but they used them for several hundred years until they didn't have a need for them, right?
Yeah, but that's because they were old and stupid. We, with our computers, are much smarter in the modern age, right? Right?
Right.
I think that's irrelevant.
We're finished housekeeping.
I want to hear about the Earth moving up. What's this general theory of relativity crap with the Earth moving up, man? I mean, this is the new hotness, gravity, right? Why aren't the Globers in here in force on this, man? Come on.
But they're not literally
saying they got your back.
Up. They're not literally saying it's moving up. They just say you can see it as if the motions were the other way around. It's basically making you thinking in the coriolis perspective. That you think about reference frame, and then you can interswitch that if you just drop the dreaded sensation of falling off a building and shit.
That sounds like pretend.
Yeah, you see, chocolate. What they do is they take
it moving away from an anchored Euclidean position into relative reference frame thinking. That's exactly what it does.
Yeah, they take a flat disk, and then they say you're going up, and then because of bending space warp, it's just wrapped around the globe. Simple. Going straight, but you're looking as you're curving.
It's weird. Mr. Veritasium over there thinks that there are more than one reference frame. He spoke about numerous reference frames in his video. So whose reference frames again were ruined? Like I'm confused.
Let me answer that. I'll address the globe-believing fundamentalist religious zealots with this statement. I'm going to take ownership of this statement. You, globe-believing fundy zealots, and your reference frames are ruined.
Thank you very much.
I'm just reminding you about DITRH. I don't know when you wanted me to, but I'm not.
And the housekeeping. I haven't forgotten. I covered the half of what I did want to cover already, but the other half I'll cover after housekeeping. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Negative.
Only in your imaginations.
Only in the books that they made up. Those guys.
Not so far. Not so far.
Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Dominus radius, so
I think that's it. That concludes housekeeping.
No.
Go on, whoever that was.
It was just me saying no. There was no.
Oh, okay, no. Yeah, well, that concludes the housekeeping for certain then. Okay, so I'm currently stood on the main channel, that's Nathan Oakley 1980, at 19,000 subscribers. Now, obviously, I'd love to hit the milestone of 20,000 subscribers, so I started to research how do you grow subscribers? And what did I come across? I came across a lot of very attractive females, much younger than myself, twerking for subs, and things like that. And upon finding out the various ways that other people appeal to their audience to subscribe, I didn't think any of them were very applicable to me. So I then went back through my stats and racked my brain, which brings me to you, Neil, mentioning dearth, about how I have actually grown the channel. Now, whether or not this channel shadow banned by YouTube or shoved down the lists is irrelevant, there is a very distinct way that I've grown the channel, and that's from people actually mentioning me, like Dearth. So the only reason we have the dulcet tones of Neil on an almost daily basis is because Dearth mentioned me, and then he came and subscribed. I think you might have also said the same about Globebusters, the guys from England. That might have been 10th Man.
Yeah, that was me.
Right. Well, those are the places that I see growth. Same goes for Eddie and various other people who've shouted me out that have got bigger names that I've cut out and used at the beginning of videos because they're good shout-outs. However, the same applies to almost anybody who's watching that's got even the remotest of audiences. You know, a shout-out from somebody, or maybe even, like some people do already, trim out a little clip that they think is relevant to the subject matter and, you know, publish it with a link to my channel, because that's the only way I can see that this channel actually grows. Now, it might be optimistic to think I can get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but I know, based on my stats and where they're going, I'm going to hit 5 million views by the end of the year, which is a fairly astonishing achievement when you think about it. This is still a very, very small channel, and it's all very small increments of growth. But as I say, that's what I'm appealing to the audience for. The only way I can see, unless you want to see me twerking for subs, is that you shout me out. I mean,
Don't
when I say,
do it, Nathan.
I'm not going to twerk for subs. But I will appeal to my audience to say, you know, if you can shout me out, even if you've got a small audience, and by small audience, I'm like, you know, if you've got 100 people subscribed to you, that's an audience of 100 people where, you know, if you get 1% take up, that means I grow by 1 sub. And if you can shout me out and the audience can be increased, the effectiveness of what we do here is increased. The potential for more live participants is increased. Also, the panel.
Nathan.
So there's a lot of... Go on.
Shout out to Nathan.
Yeah, but I'm more appealing to people who've actually got an audience to pass the information on. So it's only when it's put in front of somebody that it wouldn't already be in front of. Now, that could be the example with 10th Man, with Bob saying the guy's out in UK, and him going, oh, what guy's in UK? Or Dearth specifically talking about me, or Eddie Bravo specifically talking about me. There's been growth as a direct result of that. Well, it's not growth because I'm lucky enough to have one of my videos stuffed on the front page of YouTube to reach an audience that didn't already know about me. It's only when people who share my stuff, in whatever means that is, reach somebody that hasn't heard of me, that I will grow. That's literally, as far as I can ascertain, the only way the channel grows. Hence, I say it at the beginning of every single show. Please share the show. It'll increase the live audience, but it'll also increase the diversity of the panel. And I couldn't be more sincere when I say that. That's why I say it every single show. But, like I say, when I've looked at the stats, what directly correlates with growth is where another YouTuber has said, Nathan's a good show, go and watch him. And that causes me to grow. So if I can't twerk for subs, the only thing I can do is appeal to other people who've got viewers, even if it's a small number, or a perceived small number. Give me a shout out. I'll e-beg for shout outs rather than twerking for subs. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever thought of, you know, those advertisements on side of buses and stuff? Ever thought of one of those?
Adverts on what?
side of the buses or billboards.
I mean, if you're just trying to raise awareness, I think those are excellent means of doing it. And speaking of raising awareness with billboards and things of that nature, that's precisely something that DITRH has done. And when he did have a small direction to an instruction or a call to action, which those again need to have if they're going to be effective, he was directing people towards flat earth clues at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, if there was a sponsored billboard campaign that directed people to flat earth debate as opposed to flat earth clues, you know, that would be wonderful. But I'm not in any way suggesting that, nor can I afford to put a billboard campaign together. Even if I did, it would be effective only in my very limited area. So I don't think it would be a great idea.
Nathan, sorry, Flatside.
Go on, Brian.
You can always set up a
Go, Brian, go.
All right. Yeah. Okay, I'll go instead of flat side this time. Yeah, I have no idea. What about if you made a video detailing who you were, what you do, and detailing some of the people that come onto your show? I'm talking about like QE and Dr. John D and Adam, and who they are and their credentials, like just some of their credentials. And other people that come onto the show, maybe like Dave Rakia, he has credentials in some. I'm not sure what Dave does, but he's some form of engineering and different things like that. So, and ask people to share just a video, just maybe a 10-minute long or something. Just ask other channels to mirror and share it out there. So for people to see that Flat Earth is not a load of people wearing tinfoil hats, that there's people involved in Flat Earth who are not like just sitting in their bedrooms all day. You know, there's people who have careers and who are actual scientists, and people who work in engineering and different things like that. You know,
I get what you're saying.
There's even
you know, like
that kind of thing. I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a bit kind of Butlin's introduction to the crew at Butlin's, though, isn't it? Stars appear on the screen and Quantum Eraser. I know what you're saying, but what you're saying is put together an advert that someone can just mirror. Well, yeah, I had thought of that and I considered it, but it's like if I'd done that and, say, for the sake of argument, Eddie Bravo had mirrored it on some obscure channel, what would it have done? No good. But in conversation with Santos Bonacci, saying Nathan just rocks or destroys or whatever word you use, I forget now, that's far more effective. So in whatever way is easy and, you know, for whatever person. So let's say you've got 100 subs on your channel and you're like, I don't know, I'll just trim out a little bit of this particular video. It's dead easy. And then, you know, if it's just a comment underneath or something in the info box saying go and subscribe to Nathan, like get him to 20,000 subs, because that's literally what I'm appealing to people to achieve. So why not be overt about it? Just say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I think it's a lofty order. I think it's a tall order. I don't think I'll actually achieve it. I'm a bit skeptical. But by the same token, if you don't try these things, you're never going to achieve anything, and no one will ever shout you out. If you don't say, hey, can you shout me out? You got a channel, right? You got 100 subs on your channel. Yeah, shout me out. Go on. I might get a sub out of it.
Well, did you ever think you were going to achieve the amount of subs you have now?
Yeah, I thought I'd have 1 million by now. What you talking about?
Oh, my bad. So much for modesty.
I'm very pleased with where I am. I mean,
rather than doing the twerking stuff, which is a joke, you ought to do a rap song like Chocolate. You'll get subs.
It's not about me producing more material, though, because where am I going to appeal to? I'm going to appeal to the audience I've already got. Statistically, I think, I can't remember the exact, it's basically 80-20 subscribed, not subscribed. Well, given the amount of trolls that I know aren't subscribed, there's a very small percentage of people who are coming to my videos that aren't subscribed already. You know, when I see people who've got 1 million, 2, 3, 4 million subscribers and are putting out videos that are getting tens of millions of views with memes or something, they often put at the beginning of their video, check out my stats, only 10% of you are subscribed. So they've got the complete antithesis of my problem, which is that they've got nobody's dedicated to meme videos, so hardly anyone subscribes, and proportionately they've still got several million subscribers, but they're moaning about not having, you know, a dedicated audience. Me, I've got nothing but a dedicated audience. So if I put an advert, it will be, you know, I'm preaching to the converted, whereas the converted who are converted already have potentially got an audience that aren't already catered to by me. And how can I get to that audience? Well, through the people who are already subscribed that may have an audience of their own. Now, in the case of, obviously, if I just appeal, it's a bit cheesy if I just say, hey, Bob and Dirth, can you make me an advert? I just sound like a weasel. Whereas if it's like, well, no, actually, utilising the success, although it's limited, of this channel, if you've got 100 subs or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, if Dirth was to make me an advert off the back of this, I'd be kissing his ass forever. But that's not exactly what I'm appealing to. I'm appealing to anybody who's got an audience at all. It's like, why not?
Well, wasn't there one
merchandise?
Wasn't there one time a few rappers who were being noticed on YouTube and internet searches for saying flat Earth?
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Yeah,
right. So
and then Neil deGrasse Tyson had to deal with them.
I know what you should do, Nathan. Sorry, guys.
So Chocolate could be the ambassador for the rap group.
Talking about B.O.B.
I know what you can do. Yeah, but I know what you can do, Nathan.
Shoot. Tell me.
You can just when you see some reporter talking somewhere, just go behind there with your flat Earth debate.
That's a great idea. Chocolate saying doing a rap, promoting people to watch Nathan Oakley, 1980. Get on it, Chocolate.
His rap is already promoted.
What?
I would say B.O.B. would definitely share the show.
But let's get that clear. There's no obligation for anyone to do anything at all. I'm just saying, I'm throwing out ideas because I know that I'm never going to be twerking for subs. So, what else can I do? I'm just going to throw it out there.
Thank
Wait,
goodness.
I have a good idea. That's really down your lane. Basically utilizing your talents, which is mauling ballers. That's what we all love you so much for. Mauling them with arguments and attitude, a good attitude, strict attitude. So what if you do a marathon? Like specially invite the ballers, the annoying ones, and all giving them a go. And let's see how long you can hold it out.
You know what? That's such a good idea. I might do it daily. I could call it Flat Earth Debate. I already do that, Armin.
Okay. Well, that's why I said, like, if you have like a non-stop live marathon, let's say 4 more hours.
No, 24-hour marathon.
It's just an appeal for 4 more hours.
You guys have a problem. You guys have a problem.
The live show's coming to an end. Appeal for 4 more hours. I get it.
You guys have got a problem. The ballers are too scared to talk.
That's true. They don't come on no more. When they do, you get the likes of Ed Freeze, and he debunks himself.
Yeah, well, let's get him on. Zanuck and Chaiki and Rumpus and Ed, all of them.
Well, they've become footnotes.
There should be someone that wants to talk.
They become footnotes, haven't they? So they get edited down and then stuffed out after the fact on QE's channel to show how humiliating it is. It's nice to reminisce, but yeah, that's why they don't come back, because they get annihilated. Obviously, at the time, they claim victory. But with reflection and constant publication, you're not going to... if you don't realise it, you're thick. So they're going to realise how badly they've been destroyed. Even though at the time they're going, I'm doing really well.
You mean like the guy who came yesterday and conceded to natural law and the vacuum against air pressure, came back today and tried to get us to set up a balloon? That kind of...
Well, yeah, the guy that's gone from, let's go check out these absurd flat earthers to, hang on, this doesn't work. Well, he's, like we discussed at the beginning of the show, somebody who's stepped into cognitive dissonance. Well, that's one path on the road, right? Not everyone's, but for a lot of the people who come here, if not most of them on the globe side, that's where they're at. Welcome, one and all. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to both Discord and G Plus Panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching on either Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Good name of a show, The Ballroom.
Neil, when they come to your ball, they're still going to dance around the issues.
They're just going to come with.
Be a very large chamber where people dance and all that. You do realize that, right?
Is that a
Very
chamber
large
like
chamber.
a
Good one,
container?
Owen.
A container, or
What?
Yeah, a chamber.
No, we're talking about a ballroom. A ballroom is an actual thing, right?
Yeah, it's a chamber.
For dancing and
It's only man-made.
Man-made chamber. No, Chocolate, I think you would do a good rap promoting Nathan Oakley, 1980. Man, if I had your skills, I'd be all over it.
Yeah. What your appeal
He's
is
already
kind of
done that.
What? Yeah. Well, Neil. What Neil's
already
reiterating is the same thing. So, Chocolate's got. Have you got a channel, Chocolate? You haven't got a channel, have you?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah.
How many subs?
I don't really have many.
How many subs?
I got like 100 and
Perfect.
something
So
subs.
Neil's making my point for me. He's saying you're the kind of guy that you could not necessarily make a rap, but you could trim a little bit out and put a link underneath and say, go subscribe to Nathan. And then there's potentially one of the 100 people who've subscribed to you that aren't subscribed to me. I might gain one sub. It takes some effort on your part. There's no obligation whatsoever, but you're exactly who I'm appealing to, Chocolate. Even though you're obviously one of my panel members, so that doesn't seem to make any sense, but it does. Thank you, Neil.
Hey, I hashtag your show with every early bird show.
I mean, no doubt, because honestly, I never thought I would make any type of content at all. So I'm not making a show, but even just putting a rap song out there, for me, that was big because I never planned on making anything to put out there in the first place. So,
it was epic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could do something like that.
Did you see Jaron was commenting on it?
Yeah, he did say he liked it.
Like saying he shared it all over the place.
Yeah, he said he wanted to share it. So I don't know if he has or not, but yeah, that'd be cool.
He had a
See, and that's cool because some regular dude like me making a song, and then somebody like Jaron with like, I don't know, what does he have, like 150,000 subs or something like that? Like, that's big.
Yeah, he's a star.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So shout out to Jaron too.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Remember
Jaron
you back in
ace.
2015 did a kind of a documentary piece with Voice.
With what?
Voice. Remember that channel, Voice?
Nice.
Did documentaries. Remember you back in 2015 they did a piece on Flat Earth and you were one of the main people in it.
Oh, on Vice,
Do you
I
remember
did
that?
an interview. Yes, I actually did
Yeah.
two, but one
Sorry,
didn't
my
get
accent.
published.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what about
why
it?
don't you reach out to them and say that they want to do a second piece?
No, they reached out to me in both instances. They reached out to me about the first piece. I built a rapport with the woman who actually produced it, and she then got in touch again after I'd done that and it was published and successful to do a roundup of the year in 2016, I think it was. And we filmed it, but it wasn't great. Even I knew that when we were filming it. There was a fairly obnoxious, quote, ethical hacker that was one of the panel members, and she was like totally triggered SJW, just annoying, and it just ruined the feel of the whole piece. So they said that when they tried to edit it together, it just didn't work, and I thought, yeah, shocker. So that never got published. But in both instances, they contacted me. I get contacted by the press quite frequently. I just turn most of it down. I'll just go, no.
But you
So for
shouldn't
those
do
who
that.
think Nathan's in it for the money, he turns a lot
What
of
money?
stuff
They didn't
down.
pay me.
Okay, people out there.
They're
They
going
didn't
to
pay me anything.
assassinate,
They didn't
character
pay me for it.
assassinate us anyway.
There's no
I
payment.
mean, you are the best spokesperson to like, because whatever you would say, they'd have a very hard time editing it into something that you didn't say. You know, it's like, it's still promotion. All promotion is promotion. It's up to you. It's your channel, but I wouldn't be turning down the press. I'd be saying, come and talk to me.
All publicity is good
Well,
publicity.
You say that, but in every instance that I either was referred by another flat earther to press, or they'd contacted me direct. Every time I turned it down, a month later, I saw the end result of the piece that they were planning, and I'm yet to be proven wrong about what their intentions were. So I can smell a hit piece a mile away. And every time I sensed that it wouldn't go in my favour, I'm just like, no, I think you're going to try and ridicule me. So I'm just not interested. So I would often turn them down. Or, the connection would be severed, as in you drift apart, the communication falls apart, whatever. But the point is that I'd then later see somebody who I know being pummeled by some newspaper. And I'm like, glad I turned that down.
Pass that skill on to Bob Nodell, Nathan, will you?
Say again?
Pass that skill of sniffing out shit like that to Bob Nodell.
Don't give Bob Nodell too hard a time. I'm thanking him at the moment, Neil. If it wasn't for Bob Nodell, right, out of shit comes roses. Now, the rose in this scenario that involves Bob is the fact that everyone is now acutely aware of what the Globe claim actually is. Now, had it not been for Netflix and Bob, would everybody be so acutely aware in this convoluted subject of what the Globe claim actually is? 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. I can say that. That's actually quite a fairly lengthy and reasonably complicated statement. 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. That's Coriolis deflection. I can say that, and there's a good chance my audience knows what I'm talking about, thanks to Bob. So when I then say you and your reference frames are ruined, that's very effective, because they can't then say, no, it travelled together and lose the audience in doublespeak, because we're talking about drift now. We're all well aware that we're talking about 15 degrees an hour drift, because that's what they claim, and Bob's supposed to have proven it. Oh, so he's supposed to have proven 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. It doesn't. Planes would drift away at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator, helicopters and balloons and drones. Yeah, we can focus on what they actually claim now, thanks to Dan and Bob. Well, that's unfortunate in the short term for Bob Nodell. In the long term, I could kiss the guy. Because what happens in this conversation? They convolute it into two reference frames becoming one reference frames and justifying no drift, like that's an argument for them when they're debunking their own claim. Well, we've got to have it firmly established in the public's perception what the claim actually is first. Because if that's not firmly established, 15 degrees drift as Earth turns underneath, you don't know what's supposed to be being debunked. Now we do. It's well established by everybody what we're debunking. And what are we debunking? 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. That's what's supposed to be proven. Now we all know we can debunk it.
Yeah, in the long run, it turned out to be good. But for 2 years, hearing ballers, a flat Earth that proved that the Earth moves. Oh, that was annoying for a while.
Well, turn it into roses, Neil. Not Bob proved the Earth was turning. No, say it like it needs to be said. So Bob proved Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour. So Earth turns underneath drones at 15 degrees an hour? No, it doesn't. Again, establish what the argument actually is. Use it to your advantage. So Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour then. So things drift away, drift apart at 15 degrees an hour. That would be drones drift away from me at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator as I turn underneath them. Get the claim down. So you can say, no, drones don't drift away from you at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. Helicopters can hover. We're not seeing them deviate at 15 degrees an hour. That does not happen. So we can debunk the actual claim they used to prove Earth spins now. So thanks, Bob. Yeah. And thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Do you have any clue how much people have actually come to, how can I say, question because of that Bob Nodell 15-hour drift? A lot of people weren't even aware of the flat Earth conundrum. No, it wasn't even in anybody's mind until they see it on Netflix.
Yeah, I understand, but that was bad. I don't care. That was bad.
No, I've just told you why it's good. Now when anyone comes and watches my show and they hear me say, so Earth's supposed to turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour, 15 degrees an hour drift, Earth turning underneath. When I say those things, people know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, and all days they would just look at you crazy.
So what's going on in the head of all the people that were thinking Bob for all these years, right? Because they proved that 15 degrees an hour of the Earth is spinning underneath. So doesn't that require reference frames? Dan?
Yeah, it does. And you and your reference frames have been ruined, Simon Dan 2020. No, it's actually 2019. That's a year old.
I just like giving Bob a hard time because he's a gravity pusher.
You make it sound like he's dealing crack.
Well, in essence, it is. It destroys life.
No. It just convolutes things. That's all.
Look, there's plenty of people out there pushing
17-year-old.
ideas that we do not push, right? And were Bob to be here, he'd get the same treatment Alwyn got yesterday, and he knows that. So it's not like we are ever going to change our positions based on what individuals on their own channels decide to push. We could spend all day going through...
No, you're just going to talk in circles forever and never do anything. That's what you're going to do.
Okay.
So,
the same guy who had...
Not very entertaining after 2 episodes.
What are you doing?
Hold on, this guy wants to share his pain.
I saw Dirth do a little experiment in his kitchen with a flashlight and a piece of cardboard. But I guess that was too expensive for you, Nathan. You need all your pounds over there in jolly old.
Why have you descended into ad homing me?
And just know, Nathan. Like in reality, Nathan, you talk to somebody like that to their face, you get slapped. In reality,
eat that mic.
Like you would be slapped and on the ground crying if you spit people like that.
This guy literally wants to hurt me. He's so offended by me destroying his fundamentalist religious zealot belief in a globe that he now wants to hurt me and see me with no money. What a shock. Yeah, like Thunderfoot. How dare this guy have Patreons? How dare this guy earn a living? You want to see me in pain, don't you?
No, I'm on the fence just asking a question.
Yeah, you can suck my balls on the fence. You hate the fact that I've destroyed your globe belief on the fence, my ass. You want to see me in pain. You've just made that explicitly clear. And I'm delighted. Because it's your projection of your pain. Share it with us.
Give me a break, dude.
Yeah, we'll give you a break. Earth's not a sphere. The sky's not a vacuum. You've been lied to on a massive scale. And you want to blame me. You want to see me in pain for that. No, this is your own pain, mate, not mine.
That's the question, and you start yelling and calling me names. And then
No, telling you to share your pain and eat your mic. While you tell me how I would get slapped.
Baby.
Yeah? Well, I'd be in pain. No, this is your cognitive pain, not me. I don't deserve to be beaten up because you don't like the fact your religious belief's dying.
I don't have a religious belief.
Yeah, you do.
That
You
says
think
a
the
lot
sky's a
about you,
vacuum.
though.
Yeah, you do. You've got a fundy belief in a sky vacuum that you think I need to... Hello? Got a fundy belief in a sky vacuum that you think I should be out there debunking when I've already debunked it. But that's not good enough. I should be out with bits of string.
All I'm saying is that you could talk, and that's talk. But then, just like you say with the scientific method, at the end you do an experiment, right? At the end of the scientific experiment to see which way it is, yes or no.
You don't know what science is.
Is the shape of the Earth a scientific question, Chief?
Criticizing me on my use of science. So fine, I'll take you down this road. If you want to be humiliated by a flat earther again,
you just come up with stuff to put in my mouth. I asked you a question. You hear the word coming out of my mouth, don't you?
Please. Hello? You've just criticised me for my lack of science. Now we're going to discover how good your scientific acumen is. Or you're going to talk through me non-stop. Hello? Can we have a two-way conversation without you talking through me, please? So.
All right, sorry.
Thank you. So you've criticised my scientific acumen. What are the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment?
And then you make a claim, and then
Wrong.
You go out.
Oi,
you
fucking moron! You stupid fuckwit dick! Now you're gonna get berated by a flat earther. You are fucking an idiot. You stupid idiot.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
All right, you put.
You stuttering fuckwit! That is not one of the constituent parts of a scientific experiment. How dare you criticise my scientific acumen when you are a retard and do not know what science is? How dare you, you stupid moron!
Speaking to me like this in my...
You are a moron! You don't even know what the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment are. I asked you and you don't know. You are wrong. A moron, an idiot who is being berated by a flat earther for the second time on the same show. Now sit down. Don't tell me about how good my scientific acumen is. You haven't got one. So don't decide to criticise what I have and you do not.
That's why I'm asking...
Shut up! You stupid ignorant dick! You have no clue what science is, and for that you're being told off by a flat earther for the second time on the same show! Don't criticise my scientific acumen, you don't have one! You haven't even got the vaguest clue what a scientific experiment is! I asked you and you gave me an incorrect declaration, you stupid idiot! That's why you're getting berated, for for your stupidity on the second consecutive attempt to join in a conversation between intelligent people who do know what science is, and that is not you.
All right, you would be on the ground, slapped, dead, crying.
Yeah, tell me how much you want to see me in pain. While I humiliate your dumbass for not knowing what science is. Yeah, tell my audience how you'd like to see me be hurt for this. Yeah, it's called projection.
Sound like a real tough guy.
Yeah, tough guy. Yeah, you're a fuckwit who doesn't know what science is, and you're getting told that by a flat earther. You don't have to like it, but it is what's happening, you fuckwit clown with zero scientific acumen. You're being disciplined by me. Told what's what by a flat earther. I love it.
Yeah, you could talk, but in reality, if
you're a fuckwit in reality who's getting told what science isn't when you give me an incorrect declaration about what a constituent part of a scientific experiment is, which you don't know because you are thick. Now, maybe if you eventually sit down and shut the fuck up, I'll educate you on the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment, which you do not know because you, the globe believer, are ignorant.
Well, if some guy came up to me talking like this to my...
Yeah, you'd get
really
told
on
that you're a stupid idiot when you make declarations about science. You question my scientific acumen. Should I punch you in the nose because you haven't got a fucking clue what science is? Does that mean I should beat you on the floor? Beat the living shit out of you because you told me I don't know what science is when you haven't got the vaguest clue? Is that what happens to people who come and make declarations about what people don't know? You should be beaten up, right?
Well, when you insist...
Should you be beaten up for telling me I don't know what science is when you haven't got the first clue? That's what you're saying. It's reasonable that if someone comes and makes an assertion that's totally unreasonable, like you've done, you don't know what science is, Nathan. So that means you should get beaten up, does it, you stupid dick?
No, when you insist...
No! So how dare you assert that because I've pummeled your absolute nonsense, that somehow that means that I'd get beaten up at the end? Yeah, a pathetic loser who loses an argument would turn it into a physical altercation. That's what you would do, my friend. You'd beat me up for losing your argument and getting told that you don't know what science is. You'd hate being told. You'd see the disdain on my face and you'd want to wipe it off with a fist. Because you haven't got a fucking argument to do it with, have you, dick brain?
I wouldn't insult the person I'm talking to.
I'm insulting you for your stupidity. Because you are stupid. When asked what science is, you didn't fucking know.
And you get slapped because you're a
Nathan
bitch.
Earlier, so you were insulting.
Yeah, you decided to question my scientific acumen. I asked about yours, and then you started fundy muting me like you're doing now. What I would do is punch you. That's what you told us. You're a violent scumbag. The people who come into my comments and tell me I'm a psychopath because I pummel their arguments are merely projecting their own psychotic nature onto me. You would physically have an altercation with me because you've lost your argument after telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. Something that by your own standards I should punch you in the face for. Yeah? You come up to me and tell me I don't know what science is when you haven't got the vaguest clue. Yeah, by your standards I should just punch you. How dare you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when you haven't got the vaguest clue what science is? You've got no right. I, on the other hand, don't see it as reasonable when someone comes up and challenges me based on my understanding of science, even if they're a clueless moron like you, that it would be reasonable to punch you in the face for that. What I will do is tell you, with all the disdain I can muster, to humiliate you by way of your own stupid declarations. I'll point them out to you, and then I'll humiliate you for them, because I can't reach through this mic and punch you, but I can degrade you. I can humiliate you. I can tell you with absolute authority that you're a complete retard. And I can justify it with your own fucking words, retard. Now, you don't have to like it, and you can tell my audience how you'd want to hurt me for it, but it won't change how fucking wrong you are, and how little you stupid clowns know about science. You haven't got the first clue what science even is. By talking through me this whole time, just means you haven't listened, but my audience will hear me berating you while you fundy mute me, you stupid scumbag troll.
All right, you're a pussy. That's basically all.
Yeah, that's what he's got, an ad hom. Talk through every fucking word of me berating him so he doesn't have to listen to it, and then tell me I'm a pussy.
You're a pussy because...
Yeah, I heard your ad hom the first time. You're a moron and doesn't understand what science is. I've declared it because it's true. I've given an example because it's true. You've made a declaration incorrectly about what a scientific experiment is, demonstrating your stupidity. Calling me a pussy isn't going to fucking work.
It takes a dick to know a pussy.
Yes.
No.
Bro, but how you flexing on the internet, bro? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what your tactic is here, guy. What's the tactic?
He's cornered.
What's the motive?
Yeah, why you want to speak to this asshole, Nathan? Why you coming here and listening to him?
No, he has no humility.
Nathan is pussy. Why you coming here to listen to him? Go somewhere. Go to watch some movies.
If he had humility, he wouldn't be coming in here doing this nonsense, throwing his weight around.
Yeah, it's just showing his maturity. He has none.
He's expressing. He's being really honest. He's expressing how they all feel. I love it. They all want me to be in pain. They all want me to be penniless and in pain. Why? Because they can't defeat my argument. And that's what's just happened. He couldn't defeat my argument. He doesn't know what science is. His argument is you don't know what science is, and I've proved how stupid he is. What's the result? He wants to hurt me and have me earn no money. Yeah? It's pathetic and telling. That's how these people are. They're just scum.
Yeah, well, he says he was on the fence. He's a liar. He's disingenuous. He comes on. If he was on the fence, he'd ask serious questions, and we would know the difference. But we sniff right through it, and when push came to shove, he starts ad homing you and starts berating you because you do a show and you earn a living doing this, and you're not sending up a balloon, Nathan.
It's pathetic. But ultimately, it's so telling.
Sorry.
Hey, Chocolate.
No, I was just going to say, he came in with the ad hom because he came in, oh, you guys are just sitting here asking questions. Oh, yeah, this is a debate show on the internet. What the fuck do you want us to do?
Haven't got any answers to these questions either.
But you're the guy over there talking about your pussy, you get punched in the face on the internet. That makes you seem really corny, bro. Like
he's Nathan. Chocolate. He's
Come
gonna
at
take his
me,
fist
bro.
through the
I'll
screen.
kick your ass in real life, and that's what it is.
They just don't like it. I wouldn't like it either. That's why I do it. Yeah, I do it like the smarmy bastard I am to really wind them up. So you're really pissed off at me, yeah? You want to hurt me and see me stripped of all financial earnings because I've humiliated your lack of understanding when it comes to science when that was your attack on me? Yeah, I'd be pissed off too. It's humiliating being told what's what by a flat earther. Yeah, I'd want to inflict pain too, but I wouldn't. That's the point. I'm not scum. They are.
What's the first thing he said for the scientific? What's the first constituent? What did he say? Ask a question? Did I hear that right?
I think he was trying to describe the scientific method.
That's not a method, but okay.
Just wrong. Wrong or incapable of listening. Either way, ignorant. But wants to come and attack me on that score, right?
For example, if you say that we have two horizons, that is not insulting?
Say again, Sasha.
If you say that we have two horizons, for example, what they said many times, even three horizons, is that not insulting?
Yeah, to us, that's insulting.
Yeah, that's insulting, that you're fucking saying some shit lie, and that is not insulting. That is like a beautiful way to speak. We have two horizons. Fuck you! We don't have two horizons. We have one.
Absolutely epic. And with that, I'm going to say another massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!